Welcome back for part 3 on filling out your, helping you get into Alpine achievement and working with your 27G student plans. So we still have this fake student here, and we're going to go into the parent perspectives section. This is where you have that option to have that form that's digital or a hard copy and send that home with a kid to have their parents fill it out. Um, Again, you're more than welcome to put all the information in and type it in once it comes back from the parent. You're also more than welcome to just put in refer to supporting documents and then get that parent perspective scanned in and upload it into supporting documents. So that would be your supporting document number 2. Okay, um, so that's with the parent perspectives. We can actually close that section out. We're good to go for there. And I actually skipped one little section, and it was parent contact and meetings. So, specifically with parent contacts and meetings, we had a section back in, I believe it was background, called meeting minutes. If you talk extensively with a parent about this kid's plan, you're more than welcome to put it into the meeting minutes. You're also more than welcome to put it into the contact. Okay. It is not necessarily required, but the one thing that is required is the parent's name, the parent's phone number, and the parent's email. And the reason for this is that when our students leave our district, not every district has, unless they're in district, the other districts don't have access to their Infinite Campus stuff. They don't have access to their Alpine stuff. And so when we print them off a hard copy to go into their file, we want to be able to give that next school this information. Again, depending on whether you are copying, editing, creating a brand new plan, you might have to enter in this information. You might not. It might already be there. Okay, but we do need this specific information for sure. Okay, we're going to close that section up. And then we're going to go to we're going to go to student achievement and plan data. Now, this is where it gets, a lot of numbers start coming in. And so the one thing we need to keep in mind is that if you have a 7th grade student on an RTI plan for, let's say, reading, their 2nd grade CSAP scores are probably not really important. We don't. I mean, that's long enough ago where that's not going to make a difference. And so the data that we want to enter into the plan shouldn't really be more than 2 years old. So I'll show you're going to have to decide for yourself what pieces of data are important for this child, and this is where the plan is written specifically for a specific student. So we're going to click here to add, and then what will happen is you will get, we don't see a huge list here, we will get section after section. You'll have, Dibble scores in there. You will have NWEA in there. You will have, there might be COGAT scores in there. You're going to have scores across the board for tons of stuff. Just because it's all there does not mean that you have to, include every single one of those into the plan. Be very selective about what you're including into the plan. Does it make difference to the plan? If the student is on a reading plan, their math scores might not be so important. So keep all of that in mind. And this is an area where you're definitely going to spend some time looking through this, selecting which sections we want to include. So I will get this to go in, and then I'm going to finalize. That way, this little chart here and all the other data you decide to include when we print out a hard copy of the plan, this data actually shows up. Okay? And what does the data mean? really what we're looking for here is, does the data that you've selected support this kid's goal, this kid's plan? Okay, so we have that. We can actually get out of that now. And then we're going to go into goals for the year. Now, this is actually a section that is included in all types of plans. However, we don't even need to touch it. So this overarching annual goal section, leave it alone. Just keep it blank, leave it in there. The next part we're going to go to is called program participation. This does not need to be filled out. If it were to need to be filled out, you'll be contacted. We'll let you know. And this specifically goes for kids who may be on an ALP, but they're also on an IEP. And in that case, they're twice exceptional, so we might have to do this. But you do not need to necessarily put anything in this section, especially if you're writing an RTI plan or an ELL plan or any of those. Okay, we're going to close up the program participation. This is the only place where ALPs and then the other 27J student plans differ. So we're going to go to Advanced Learning Plan, and if you're in a different 27J student plan, like an ELL plan or an RTI plan, you'll actually just have a section in there that actually talks about the goal that you're going to have for that student. And then, what does that goal look like? The ALP part of this is a lot more in depth than an RTI plan or an ELL plan. So keep that in mind. But for all 27J student plans except for ALPs, you are just writing what their goal is. It does not need to be written like a SMART goal necessarily. However, with ALPs, they do need to be written from the SMART goal perspective. So there are forms that you've actually received that will help you write the student's SMART goal or goal in general. So most of these ALPs are going to be continuing. Just go through and fill this section out. You don't need to fill this out. You need to pick what type of plan. And then this is where it gets a little bit, there's a lot of stuff in here. So we've got an ALP. The student is language arts gifted. So then we've actually got to go down here and all this stuff and write in for language arts, open that up, and fill out these sections. And so what we recommend specifically for ALPs is using that SMART goal form that you received to help you out. Write that out first, get it on paper, then transfer it into Alpine, into this form. One great thing about Alpine is if you see these highlighted words like SMART goal, learning structure, all these, you can actually click on these and it will help you write a SMART goal. So I can do demonstrate. Student will demonstrate significant reading gains. So if I click on that option, you're going to see, click here to close the window, it actually puts it in for me. I don't have to type it out. Reading gains as measured by, and then I would just go in and I could type in NWEA. And it's great. Content strategies, there's ones on this list. There's learning structure list. There's differentiation, so much stuff. You don't have to use from these lists. You can enter in your own options as well if you're using different things. But this is a great tool and it helps out a lot. And then the end of year progress, that's something that obviously we'll do at the end of the year. Okay? One thing that an ALP has that other plans do not is an affective goal. A social affective goal, social emotional goal, and this is more learning about themselves, where a need is, that's going to help them academically, but it's social emotional. And this is a state requirement. So this is a state law. There's no real way around it. Students have come up with their own effective goals. They have filled out a SMART form for their effective goal. So you should have all that information. All you should have to do is just put the goal in there. So at the bottom you'll see there's the effective section. I'm going to open it up. It opens up just like the one where I was in language arts up here. And I'm going to fill in the information that I got from the student. So there's where your effective stuff goes. And I can close all these up to make me not feel so overwhelmed. And then supporting documents. We talked about this. You got all these sections. And then plan status is actually something that we're going to go over we'll do it at the end of the school year when we kind of close out the plan for that year. The one thing though that you do need to make sure it's checked, starting from the very beginning of when you get into this plan, is this record active? You need to click yes. If you are doing ELO plans or RTI plans, you might actually be going in here and you might be, is this record active? You might be clicking no because the record needs to go away. We don't need to put this child on any type of plan anymore. They've moved out of that plan. So make sure that this is updated. Make sure that this is correct. And so let's see here. One thing that we didn't, and we can actually click yes and click validate and save. And like I told you, it's going to tell me because I have sections that aren't filled out, but not everything needs to be filled out. I can click close. One little word to the wise. It's actually a little tech trick. If you are creating a new plan or copying one over, and you need to enter in information, meaning you need to look at the old plan from the year before while you're also entering information for the current plan. A tech trick is open Alpine in Google Chrome and have it over to the side over here. And then open up Internet Explorer at the same time. And go to Alpine from Internet Explorer. Log in from here. Then you can actually have both sections up next to each other, reading from one to the other. And that's a really great little trick. Another thing that you'll also notice is if you have a student who maybe is on a ALP for math and language arts. You might be the math teacher and entering information. It's actually going to tell you if that language arts teacher is also in there. So you might see little pop-ups that actually show you that, and that's fine. More than one teacher can be in at a time doing stuff as long as it's not the exact same section. Okay, reminder that specifically for ALPs, because they're SMART goals, those goals need to be linked to the state standards. So make sure that you're looking at those goals or looking at those state standards. Reminder that these plans are living. Okay, they're not only living for the month of October. Then we put them in a box and then they don't start breathing again until May. We don't want that. This wants to be a continuous, alive document. That is the end of getting in and dealing with your 27J student plans in Alpine. If you have any other questions, let us know. It's been great and awesome, and we hope that this has helped you out.